Malaria, welcome to one of my home community stays right in the Kampala capital. When I am not far off in the village documenting, I am rural school teaching, researching, touring, and yes, finding new documentations to share. As we walk, notice the impermanent structures housing mostly perishable products sold like plantain, vegetables including those sold on the open road, and sometimes these act as accommodation at night for most of the people and to protect their property. We have open day street barbecue. Feel like having one? No worries. Oh yes, our community has a semi-permanent, this innovative storied building made from wood, utilizing well the limited space available within a large population. As we walk, you will see shops have other items apart from food produce, whereby for example here, we now have pipes and more water stuff. Also street food from the big saucepan boiling. Usually similar stuff is sold on the same street for easier comparison and competitive cheaper bargaining pricing. This here will be a urinal and at night probably a bathroom. Every waste easily pathed below to the gutter. Be sure to check out our documentary on bathroom types. I love local bridges. I think we should have a documentary specifically for that, haha. Here you can see how we cross bridges. Small bridges like these are common across Africa as they help connect villages, cross a swamp, or river and streams. There we crossed one of the big gutters. Most bridges like the one ahead is made of short wood, and the previous one was made from a mixture of concrete and big metal, probably because it's the main one with lots of traffic. One would be surprised to have this tiny forest of eucalyptus trees, but that probably is to protect this piece of land with long-term evidences. So why am I making this journey? Having been away from the capital over 6 months on return, I was told about the wonder in a sheep tail oil. We have amazing Maasai men natural herbalists. Oh wait, and here we have another area that requires a tinier bridge especially for kids, but never mind, jump with me. Scrap business is one of the most lucrative business in my community. That with a kilo of scrap earns $0.50 $1. Alright, passing this veranda, some entries would be shops, others are used as housing. Probably the closed ones might be double housing. These are the common permanent shop structures with heavy metallic doors. So the close-knit community like this keeps it together with sports activities like football, call it soccer, held in the evening on this well-used handsome pitch here. The youths love this escape from home. Earlier, the pitch was empty as it was during day, everyone working hard, and later you can see captured from the opposite with the visibility of the brick wall and road. The football practice got busy. Oh, the goats utilize it all day trimming the grass before evening retirement to leave for the humans. Here you can see it's evening time for everyone to catch up, both players and spectators, with a cloudy sunset almost over the horizon. It's things like these that keep us together and know of each other. It's indescribably beautiful. Alright, let's continue on our way. Here we bypass the brick hill where muddy bricks are piled together to be baked like a pot, turning orange before being used for construction. The main ingredient of our building industry. Buildings seen are from this. In future, let's visit a brick quarry. Subscribe. Now, let's jump onto the famous Kampala Northern Bypass Highway, Uganda's newest suburb highway on the block. Well, maybe attention now shifted to Entebbe Express Highway. Either way, let's enjoy our long walk on this road as we point out some highlights. It's hot, but come on. Okay, back to why I'm making this walk. So the Maasai herbalists move through our community and give various remedies for diseases, from pregnant women care to body detoxification. Having had lots of issues with my tummy the past and even worse more recently, a friend advised we go by the sheep tail. Well, it's a nice trial after contemporary medicine's failed trials. Hey, meanwhile, this is random personal thoughts anyways. So my friend thought let's try body cleaning. I am like with a mutton tail oil. Yep, I thought this should be fun for documenting, and long story short, here we are, friends, hehe. We are to buy the sheep tail from the market and had to make this journey to one of the country's famous and cheapest market, Kalurwi Market. But looks like things have hiked here too. For example, we couldn't buy onions, it was too unaffordable with the renaming change. Economy, ho! I tell you. It has become this slow for many people. It's like everywhere across the globe, everything is to high or becoming high. Hopefully, we can adopt the shock sooner. How are you doing, you end? Comment to let us know. Sharing is caring. In case you wondering, we walking on this highway famously known as Impala Northern Bypass. It's said the plan existed since 1960s or even before 40s. Planned out during the British colonial ruling, a road that would reduce town traffic huge enough with probably 8 or 16 lanes, much lost historic info. The road would also easily help those living on the outside of town connect easily. But mostly importantly, it would really help reach Entebbe Airport quicker, including quick takeoff of highway journeys off the city center, connections to the countryside, and cross-border movements. This urban highway has various means of transportation aligning it, such as the local bikes, then add personal and private means, buses, trucks, etc. But it has hawkers positioned in one place along the pavements, targeting pedestrians selling like the pineapples we passed. Then we have walking hawkers. Let's first see the negotiations for this bag. The beauty about many parts of Africa is having kind of human walking shops that you can encounter anytime during your walk spree and start looking through specific goodies of choice, even at impulse. This was an impulse buying, sincerely. Seeing the bags. Wasn't that an interesting sudden street walking and buy exchange? That's how sometimes we roll our sales here. Well, let's continue on for more interesting highlights. Sub-Saharan Africa is a really hot tropical region that it has never been hotter than before, that we are finally forced to move with umbrellas, but some may find it a bit weird. I wish we could learn also to use sunscreen more. I am still curious if it really works on especially a black melanin. Did you enjoy the previous sale? Here we can stop over to see some herbals sold. These are mainly for body detoxification, body wash, and some can be drunk. The hotter the sun, the more it dries in preservation, consisting mainly of tree barks and leaves. I was interested in something for teething strengthening. In African culture, we survive a lot on herbals for our medication from childhood, especially Plin villages. Some people may have access to modern medicine only when they get to access the city, but many may forever depend on herbals. Case in point, during COVID-19, a lot of people went back to the traditional herbal ways of healing flu or cold, then add the very hot tropical sun drying out the virus. Perhaps this helped many Africans like me survive the pandemic. And this journey is about acquiring the natural body cleanser, right? Here, we approach one of the highlights of this highway locally known, Itawo. We are passing under it, but passing its top gives a nice scenic view of horizon spots and hills around Kampala and its suburbs. There are many Itawos on this long highway and their important landmarks and stages, leading to other areas. So what's the history of this road? Continuing from where we had stopped off, this is the Kampala Northern Bypass Highway, a road that forms a semicircle across the northern suburbs of Kampala, Uganda's capital and largest city, measuring about 23 kilometers long, built between 2004 to 2009 before opening. The route was largely funded by the European Union before Brexit, along with some contributions from the Ugandan government with an international contractor hired. The construction was divided into two phases, whereby the first phase was completed with the first lanes until recently the second phase, which would have the completion of the other lanes. Well, not fully the original planned lanes, but for now, let's say the highway will do part of its large purpose amidst the increasing population and traffic around the city center. During the road building, many people had built in the road reserve, and many the government compensated to shift to other places to allow construction ahead, so don't be surprised. The tarmac you see here just 20 years ago might have been a lot of housing there or farmland, bars, slums, residential, business, paths, etc. now transformed into a highway traffic diversions. The bypass has lots of advantages such as providing shortcuts to different suburbs like Piazza and countryside routes such as Fort Portal, Masaka, hence cutting of traffic around the city center. However, there's some disadvantages like theft. Many types of thieves align at specific road points, especially in the deserted areas like near the swamps in the late night hours. It's advised drive with caution, especially after 10 o'clock p.m., but there's safety improvements with security cameras installations. This large group of livestock you see are fed and drink from water sources like the swampy water dish pointed out earlier, before being taken to the market. And isn't it wonderful, it's where we are headed. Just like me, we get to see their first time. Also at times livestock is kept domestically for home use like cows for milking, but with the limited land around the city with almost no green pastures, don't be surprised if you find cows or goats and hens roaming some of city suburbs and highways. It's so normal. Okay, the city council, that's Kampala Capital City Authority QCA, is trying cut down animal roaming around the city with fines, but at times with the climate and pasture scarcity, it becomes helpless to individuals. Now, here we pass one of the newest markets that QCA has put up in efforts to take hawkers off the streets or walking pavements like those we saw earlier. The city council organizes business people in centralized market like this. They try to make affordable, but also for them to collect taxes. Ahead, we can see more sheep and goats roaming. Where are the cows at? Maybe it's easier to keep these many small animals in such a space than the big ones. Of perhaps not. If you hold on to the end, we surely promise you some cows or bulls. Just hold on to the journey. Now, you can see an increasing amount of people on the road plus more aligned goodies on the rails and pavement. It means we're getting nearer the big market. People, even us, will even pass the previous market and still go to the bigger one unless they know the price competitiveness in between. So you may wonder, why are sellers still on the streets despite the designated markets? That perhaps is a mouse and cat game between the sellers and the council, but generally the previous market is still new. Few customers yet. The streets are free, no space pay, and one gets closer to enticing customers. We continue our way on the lower end of the highway that heads to the city center. Upper side of the highway will connect to the recently opened Entebbe Express Highway, the most expensive road in the world, built by loan from China and the government. It leads to Entebbe Airport and must pay to use it. So this turn on the left as we branch off will give us the back and access of the market area where meat is sold. The livestock arrives here brought in by the trucks you see. The animals are assessed, those that will be slaughtered and those that will be sold full. So the customers come in all forms. Like here, I'm not sure if the customer owning that car boot bought the meat from the market or brought the meat to the market. In Africa, bride price is important before wedding. One important requirement is livestock. So if you don't have a farm of animals yet want to marry, come check out the livestock here for your African in-laws. Oh great! If you haven't noticed, we have finally reached the meat section of the market. Embrace yourself or skip to minute 18 please. Talk about impulsive buying. Decided to buy a heart of a cow that you see being packed here. Every stall has its speciality. Yes, I requested to document bits of this process during the packing, otherwise our journey would be incomplete. It was my first time to visit this end of the market. It was exciting, really, especially seeing mostly women managing the sales. So we bought a cow heart from a heart stall. Next, we went to the cow intestine stall. One has to be specific which animal parts, like from a cow, goat, sheep, etc. But the traders are clever. Sometimes they can mix up everything. Who knows? And can you tell? That's business. Here, you can see more meat hearts usually cut in the middle to even make them appear bigger. But who knows which animals are these anyways? I never expected a cow heart to be this big. Alright, now we are at the cow intestines meat stall. You got to be specific, like I said. Unlike the heart sold whole, the intestines are measured in kilograms, and so decided on a kilogram. This was sold by a man who cut different parts to mix the intestines. All packaging is similar, first from light plastic to black plastic. With how plastic is affecting the environment, I realized the idea of having affordable non-plastic packaging for even spilling things, as these is even more important to protect our natural environment. Finally, we have arrived at the sheep section. All this journey was made so we buy a sheep tail, a mutton tail, and here we are. It's my first time to buy mutton, even being in a mutton selling section. Have you been to one? Comment to share your experience, please. Thank you. As negotiations and best part are ongoing, here is the liver section and other parts. I'm not sure. It's like every inside part is sold, nothing goes to waste. Well, just a quick camera pan and back to mutton. We negotiated the smaller sheep tail. It would be my first time to taste it, so trending softly get the smaller one. Know how it goes before diving in more. The sheep skin is removed and the actual mutton meat is cut into small pieces to easily cut at home. No worries being sold a woolen skin, as I was first horrified how I would remove the wool, but it was also too late to regret. Because here is the little trick. Now they sell the tails with the woolen skin on to appear bigger for better pricing. It's when the wool is removed you like, ah, should have gotten bigger, one more mutton, ha ha ha. See the tongues. Done with the selling, you saw almost all overview of the section. To now head to the general front area of the market where everyone arrives and busiest. Few people come this back end, as people prefer front end along the main road, and there are small lined butchers too. That now I think about it too, we should have visited them to give full over, but there is always a next time. Let's enjoy the other items in our famous and perhaps cheapest market. Here we still back end. Now you may wonder, what do we with the animal skin? After leaving my wool skin behind, I realized there is lots I could use it for. Alas! I could sell it and they know a use. Animal skin can be used to make dancing materials tied around the waist, drums, carpets for even kings and shoulder covering them, etc. Let's visit a diverse drum shop soon. Subscribe. Okay, did you enjoy some of the chaos noise in the market? Hehe, women, men, babies, animals, footsteps. It's everything and louder with more people. Now, this is the front end area where it's busiest, where everyone quickly grabs what they want, especially people with cars packed by the roadside. For better negotiations, go deeper into the market, like back end where we came from, but again recently for some reasons, sellers have almost standardized. Everything is like now standardized. You will find, like for example, only sales of a kilogram of onions, same price. They want to measure in kilograms almost everything nowadays. Like since when? We thought this only happens in supermarkets, but slowly they went back to some former eye and hand measurements. So here, we're trying to buy some onions. The tomatoes are usually piled like that for selling. It's great now in many places onions are again piled similarly, because there's a time almost every market and street there were measuring in weights to buy onions sold in a kilograms. Is it getting better? Not exactly, as it seems most will now sell even one onion for a beat price. Onions is like a new gold, too expensive that one may have to cook without onions at times. Too sad for the country's famous snack Rolex of chapati rolled in omelets. For example, remaining change could not buy an onion pile. But it will get better. This was at the time of this documentary. Things will change. Well, just sharing bits of personal buying experience, it can be different for others. But one will still notice the change. Alright, notice here we have reached the main end of the market at the main road. Trucks like that bring in food produce from upcountry, villages, even cross-border from Kenya. Yes, like mangoes, and we have garlic flying or shipped from China. Everything they park here, and traders come negotiate, or the goods are specifically taken. Car customers also park here, and public transport users, and including us the foot walkers. Hehe, we mainly access the market from this main end of the road. The market extends also across the other end of the road, comprising mainly shops and similar street sales. Unfortunately, it was too hot and crowded to capture with focus. Now going home. There's next time. We came out to go home the opposite end of the market from back to front, so get an overview. Ahead as we go back, notice the upper section of the northern bypass road. That's how most of the street goods are sold, by singing. If you enjoyed the singing, as I was explaining, below that green belt of the upper road in Towo, going ahead leads to one of the suburbs like Gyaza, then head to north of Uganda, while behind us the road goes to the capital city center. The green belt extends all the way, connecting to Entebbe Express to the airport, and Entebbe Road with a branch off to parts heading to west of Uganda. As for us, we're now following the northern bypass to go back home, and this route extends all the way, connecting to east of Uganda, crossing to Kenya. You can see the market actually stops across the gutter, but we shall have extended sellers on the pavements, still targeting customers that just arrived or were undecided on some stuff back in the market, and can still find a better bargaining deal here, like the onions. Ho 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 again. Oh no! For any argument in background, some men may stand on the roadside, like the motorcycle guys called bodabada, for also our transportation, enticing customers, and some few whistle at women. So one had whistled at one, and it can depend how one takes it. It was as an interesting discussion when to whistle. The question became, should women whistle or entice men on open day street like this? Why is it normal for men? Well, it goes back, it's the man's nature to hunt. So all the way on the pavement, we have a whole mixture of goodies, and across is the fence, probably a parking lot, especially for the animals, as we get to round up on the corner where we entered the market back, and also the same arrival entrance for the animals. You may see these trucks. This is where we first branched off for entrance. If you roll back, that was to get the mutton tail, now already bought and packed. Now, you must be familiar of this stop as we head home. This is where the upper road branched off as the highway extend into space to Entebbe. Thank you for joining us on this Mutton Tail walk, buying for body detoxification. Please support us with channel growth to click subscribe button. Smiles. So our bought mutton tail would be cooked. Well, truthfully, that was supposed to be the follow-up documentary, but when we cut the meat into small pieces for cooking, the oil started coming out and it turned golden brown. Being the first time, I had no idea how far to stop with the cooking. So basically, every piece cooked producing oil by the time of checking everything had basically burnt to a black oil. That wasn't the actual required result. We shall have to return to buy another mutton tail to cook for part 2. Would you like to come with us again? Comment and subscribe. Nice. Karamojongs are cattle keepers from north of Uganda. The tribe is similar to Maasai, also cattle keepers living cross-border to Kenya and Tanzania. They share culture, and from their experience with animals, they know lots of medicinal uses from it, like the blood is mixtures including camel urine treatment. So from their several years of experience, people have increasingly picked up their remedies, which they usually move with in jerry cans. For a full dose, one indeed has to cough a good dime, but one has to be careful to watch out for actual herbalists and increasing quacks. Enjoy the new market again. This country has the youngest population in the world, coming with lots of challenges like employment and education. Many youth like these end up running own mobile business, for example, selling cold drinks to survive. Education has become expensive for completion. Bought a juice bottle, it was nice. Alright, as promised, what better way to complete this documentary than with cows? Ladies and gentlemen, we leave you to enjoy this roaming cattle herd around our capital city ghetto community. Remember those eucalyptus trees? See you next documentary. May your dreams come true.